Okay, we are live with Miss Queen Amidala Shakur. She is tuning black in with me for the second time, and I appreciate her coming on because this is going to be pretty good because she's been putting a lot of information out there, and I said I got to get back in touch with her because wow, so much stuff going on right now. It make your
Definitely,
head spin.
definitely.
Every time you look around, it's something different. I mean, wow.
Yep.
I mean, whew. Every time I look around, I say, dang, I mean, last night we had a shooting down here about an hour and a half away from me in Virginia Beach.
Really?
We got the eight shot, two dead. I think. Didn't make national news, of course. I guess it didn't fit into the narrative of the Stop Asian Hate. But speaking of that, since I wanted to bring up, I'll start with that. So I was talking to a brother last night. Actually, he sent me a text, and at the NBA game, there was a basketball player named Damian Lillard. He had the shirt on "Stop Asian Hate." But if you go to Common, the rapper, and everybody else, Common, LeBron, you name it, they've all got a shirt that says, well, not LeBron doesn't have it, but they're actually promoting "Stop Asian Hate."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this sounds kind of funny because I don't never see black folks beat up Asians unless they did something to us. So
Right.
kind of kind of weird. And on March 16th, the same day when that happened, it's also weird that that's the same day that Latasha Hollins got shot 30 years ago,
Right.
March 16th.
That's
So
crazy.
if you think about it, Latasha Hollins was the one who what was shot by the Korean in the store in
Right.
the
Right.
yeah, yeah. So also there was according to the other shooting, which the guy said in there that this wasn't about um per se killing Asians. This was about his sex addiction. Then it comes, oh, they've been busting him for prostitution stings. Now, we've been talking about that for a long time. So my thing is, how did you make this story up? And why is Robert Kraft being questioned? As a matter of fact, why are you so hard on Deshaun Watson about him going to massage parlor when Robert Kraft did the same thing? I mean, massage parlors, I mean, we got barbershops down here in Richmond. If I really wanted to tell you, you could go and probably get something done on Monday if you really wanted to. So I don't know what the big deal is. And so they made it to fit a narrative of stopping Asian hate. This ain't about no Asians, man.
At the end of the day, Robert Kraft, the thing with him was he was down there in allegedly, right? Because I reported on
Mm.
this years ago. Him and like 200, it was 200 of them all together. Wealthy elite white men who were down there. Some of them were staying at Trump's resorts, Mar-a-Lago, I think it's the name of it, Mar-a-Lago, something like that. Anyway, they were down there going to these massage parlors, and the women in there had actually been sex trafficked. They were human trafficked.
Yep.
And they had food in there to eat and stuff like that. There was no refrigerator. And they were literally living in there, sleeping on the massage tables. And
Mm.
so a lot of them were arrested and indicted. And I do believe that Robert Kraft was arrested also, right? Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Yeah. He was indicted, but he got off under the cover of darkness.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
They talked about it, they buried it, and then he got off. Nothing to see here. Like this just did, right?
Exactly.
Interesting. So when I look at that, I said, well, let's. Hmm?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I look at that and I say, this is very interesting that they would bring this up. They try to make it to fit Asians, but there's a website now they got out called Stop AAPI, Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, where to stop black hate at? Or, I'm just trying to figure this out. And then I had to think about it. And I said, oh, I couldn't believe NBC News actually admitted this. So your first black president is an Asian. They came out and admitted it. I said, she was black during election time. Now she's Asian. Will she be white next time? Yeah.
her
So you got punked again.
her birth
You
certificate
got
said
punked.
So we know she's not black. That's what we do know.
Yeah, we do know that, but she's playing the game. So, and they said what a hurting community needs from its first Asian vice
Mm-hmm.
president. So, you know, I haven't heard, man, I don't see Chucks and Pearls. I don't see her talking about protect black women no more. I don't see none of that. The only thing they told her, look, chump, handle this border crisis. That's what you do right now.
Right.
And I'm glad that the Republican senators did go to the border yesterday, and that guy James O'Keefe put that photo out there of all those children in the cages because it's just pure hypocrisy. And then they want to send them to they want to send them to foster homes. Now I know about foster homes. I know women that've been to foster homes and stuff, and they say foster homes messed up. Actually, they'll sell your child out in a foster home and sell them to human traffickers, sex traffickers, everything and the like.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest things.
That's absolutely true. Child Protective Services, Child Protective Services is a haven for sex trafficking of children and things like that. But also back to what you were saying about the Stop Asian Hate and all that stuff. That's them trying to push a narrative because what they want to do is the Democrats set up there and had all these black people, go out there and foolishly vote for them. And they keep saying that black people push them over the threshold to victory. But now black people are asking for something which they should have done in the first place. The ones who went out there and voted for them, that is. But so now they're trying to take the focus off of black people and focus on the Asians because, hey, they don't want to hear what we have to say about reparations. They don't want to hear black people complaining and acting as though they owe us something, which they clearly do. So in order to combat that, they're just going to focus on the Asians. And also they want to make it as though we're complaining about racism, black people, but we really can't complain if we're being racist and attacking people and committing hate crimes. So that's why they're pushing that whole narrative, in my opinion. That's all. It's just deflection and fighting.
Yeah, it's a deflection, but it's a good, cleverly crafted psyop too, because I've even heard black folks saying, "Why are we hurting Asians?" I said, "Where you see that at? You seen that? I ain't see it." I mean, well, now I tell you what you can do to hurt them if you really want to get honest. All right, they saying that you're hurting them. All right, pack these stores up, leave our community, and we hurt you in the pocket. That's what you're saying? Okay, we fix you now. Go ahead and get out. You got 30 days to sell these businesses to us, because we're not gonna pay you now. You can sell it to us for half price, or you can get out. Which one you want? I'd prefer you get out. But if you're gonna leave the building, let us have it. We'll do something with it. But you gotta leave now. Get your cleaners out, pack up and leave. Because you say we hurting you, so we don't want to hurt you anymore. So you just get up and leave. And we make it real easy.
I really
That's what you think.
And they're acting like we're hurting them, but they make all of their money off of us. For one, that's just niggering. Any black person who's saying that is clearly a fool. And then also, the thing is this: they have done more to hurt us than we have them. They take all the resources and money out of our community, and they don't put anything back into it. When black people go in there, they're disrespected in their businesses. They jump on you and all of these things. And another thing that I said was months ago, I was telling black people they need to stop supporting Asians. I was telling them this months ago because all of the black women who have been attacked disproportionately in these places. But then when they started painting the narrative of us attacking them, that's when I really was like, you know what, black people? I said at the end of the day, if y'all keep going to them for services, all they're going to have to do, because Biden signed that executive order for them, all they're going to have to do is lie. They can start something with you. You can try to defend yourself. They can lie and say that you attacked them, and they can say that you were saying racist slurs and then make it into a hate crime, which is, I reported on a story yesterday where two black women, one of them was fighting an Asian woman. Now, we don't know what happened first. The Asian woman says they knocked over some wigs. Okay, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But when they showed them fighting, you don't know how it exactly started or who swung first or whatever. And then you see the second black woman. She said she wasn't participating in the fight. She was trying to get her friend off of the Asian woman. And that's what it looked like to me, that she was pulling her. So, but now they're charged with felonies. Okay. And they can't upgrade it to a hate crime because the Asian people are saying that they made racist slurs. And when asked what the slurs were, and this is how you know they were lying, because black people don't even talk like this, they said the woman told them, you little Asian girl, you Asians shouldn't even be in the black.
Come on, man. That is, hey, look, that does sound crazy, doesn't it?
Yes.
But
that's that during a heated argument and a fight. You're going to stop in the fight, or after the fight, you're going to say, you little Asian girl, Asian people shouldn't even be in the black market. First of all, who calls it black market? At least they would have probably said you shouldn't even be in the beauty supply business, or you shouldn't be catering to black people, or whatever. But nobody said that. They threw that in to make it seem as though it was based off of hate. That's what it was. And this is what's going to continue to happen when black people keep going to their stores. And I'm not going to feel sorry for them, because every black person should be woken up and smart enough to know by now that they have it in for us. They don't care anything about us. So why do some people keep giving them their money? It's ridiculous.
Well, I'm gonna say for personal accord, first of all, number one, like the U.S. hustler is almost right?
Mm-hmm.
No, this time you wrong, and the way he talking up there, talking about passing the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act, that's gonna be the new form of a crime bill. Now, let me get to another form of a crime bill, which just last night, and while I always say they do stuff on Friday and stuff like that, they're talking about now he's gonna sign an executive order for what? Gun control. I'm like, you know how many black folks bought guns last year doing this scamdemic, right? Do you not know that you are in dire jeopardy when any fool is talking about? Now, my thing is, you say Breonna Taylor was killed by what? A no-knock warrant, right?
Right.
But you're going behind the back and saying, oh, let's try to enter people's homes without a warrant. Trying to press the Supreme Court to do this. Now, I'm pretty sure that they ain't that worried about white folks having guns. I'm pretty sure they're not.
No, they're not.
But they are worried about black people getting arms.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the AR-15 nonsense is BS. More people die by a simple pistol than by some AR-15, because number one, if you see somebody walking the store with an AR-15, you're gonna look.
Right.
I can still carry a pistol. I can keep it in my waistband, or I can have it in a holster.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna say nothing if you see somebody with a holster in the store. Some people might get freaked out, but not really. But if somebody comes in the store with an AR-15, you're gonna look a little jumpy. So that is not a good method of surprise to do that. Also, with that Colorado shooting, if you look at it, and I got to go back and find a video, and they might even take it down. I should have posted it on Facebook. I know they'll take it down. I used to work in corrections, and they said it's an active shooter. Active shooter is a drill. And when I looked at this, I'm looking for the blood. You say 10 people got shot. I'm looking for blood marks. I'm looking for everything.
Right.
I ain't seen it. So I'm just trying to find out, was this a cleverly crafted psyop to get the agenda passed, because there were more shootings that went on around the U.S. that day. Also, I find it mighty funny, and this is going to gematria now, that was March 22nd, Order 322, Skull and Bones Day. Anybody go look up Skull and Bones Day, the order is 322.
Right.
Elgin Baylor died on the same day. What was his number when he played basketball? 22. I'm just trying to find 322 is the order of death. So to me, something is very fishy that they did this on this particular day. And in Colorado, and a couple of weeks ago, a judge ruled down on some of them gun restrictions. So they're craftily crafting this. And then the next day, what does he come out and say? Now, Biden had a tragic event when he fell down the steps last week. And the first time you see him come back, what does he talk about? Executive order on what? Gun control. And he said, I stopped crime. You didn't stop any crime when you passed that assault weapons ban. You didn't do anything. Actually, it's true. The crime actually skyrocketed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, first of all, in some places, you get killed more by knife than a gun. So everybody, what I'm saying, I just don't see it. And then I said to myself, if you realize they don't talk about gun control when it comes to us doing this to ourselves, but they talk about it when they see it happen. But then they change the narrative from a white man to a Syrian this time as well. So they did a whole lot of cleverly crafted stuff in this thing. But I ain't hearing about talking about no ISIS, and I ain't hearing about talking about Syria. And I know that they was blasting missiles in Syria recently too. So I'm just trying to find out how they keep on cleverly crafting stuff, and we don't get it. And you're sitting around, look, I'm gonna just say something. You got a stimulus check, right? Some people say they got a stimulus check. Hey, look, you might need to stock up on food, water. Well, I don't know. The toilet paper, the Suez Canal is blocked right now, which they say could make a toilet paper shortage. They don't run to the store getting toilet paper. You might need to stock up for a while because this picture can get a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw they gonna pass executive order for gun control, I said, now the fun begins. Let's see what's gonna be next.
But that shouldn't be a surprise because we already knew Biden had already been talking about that prior to the situation occurring with Colorado and the Atlanta shooting. But also, as far as that being a psyop or whatever, when I saw the witnesses, because I reported on this the other day, when I saw the witnesses, they looked like they were clearly rehearsed and that they were reading scripts. And one of the guys who was talking, he wasn't even looking at the camera. He was looking sideways. And then it was as if he was reading something off of a teleprompter or something. And then at one point he said, "I'm sorry," and he kept talking. But you know, when you're reading something and you make a misspeak, you may say, "I'm sorry," and then you continue. That's what it looked like he was doing. So I clearly think he was a crisis actor. That's just my opinion. I think there was a lot of crisis actors. There were witnesses. It was also ridiculous. It looked staged, absolutely, to me. And then when they showed some of the witnesses later, there was a person standing on the corner and they were talking, and there was other people sitting there like they were carefully placed at specific spots, and they were just sitting there with puzzled looks and just being real still. And then there was a homeless person supposedly walking with a grocery cart in a residential area. That just all looked so ridiculous to me. So clearly it looked like it was something, you know, that they just put together. And then
this didn't look like.
As soon as that happened, he said that he was going to start the gun control. And then also keep in mind, there was a person arrested, and I believe this guy was black, was arrested at Publix in Atlanta the other day. They said he had on body armor and he had 5 guns. He walked into Publix and he went into the restroom. Someone noticed him, spoke to management. They called the police. He was consequently arrested. And then I think it was the next day or a day later, there's another person arrested, and they have on body armor and they have guns, and they're at a hospital supposedly. So that's just all. So then the police in the town where the guy came from, I believe he lived in Versailles. So the police called the city where the hospital was and told them the guy was headed their way. Now, my question is, how did they know the person was headed that way? And if they knew he was headed that way, why didn't they issue a bolo, be on the lookout for it? And why didn't they come and arrest him? Why did they have to call the other town, which he hadn't even gotten to yet? So it was just all very suspect to me. And they had already started telling people to clear the parking lot in the emergency room and stay away from the emergency room. How did they know he was going to the emergency room if he went to the hospital?
I understand. Let me say something. I gotta get this laugh here right quick about that. That's why I laugh so hard. I gotta give you credit, Miss Queen of Receipts. I gotta give you the credit because that's why I was laughing so hard. And I would tell you something. I was laughing so hard. I'm about to cry down the street. And I was talking to a brother about this thing. I told him, you got to take out this video by Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur. Or they said the National Guard. I said, wait a minute, man. National Guard don't need to call police. They supposed to back up the police. What the hell are you talking about, man?
The National Guard calls the police because a man pulls a gun on them and lies and says he's a federal agent and he wants to search their vehicles. First of all, the man looked like he was homeless. He clearly looked unkept. So how would he be a federal agent that you would believe? And then it was supposedly 3 National Guardsmen and one of him. And then he's going to search your vehicles. While he's searching one, you all can't accost him. You don't have guns to protect yourself. It was all so crazy. Why would the National Guard? My brother was a National Guard. Why would the National Guard not be carrying guns? And especially when you're doing something, working for the government at the time, they were transporting vaccinations. So that just didn't make any sense. They called the police showed up, and they said the guy had mental issues or whatever. So you mean to tell me they were supposedly riding in 3 separate vehicles too, by the way. So he stopped all 3 of you? He stopped all 3 of y'all vehicles with one gun and told you all he's going to search every vehicle because he thought y'all had kidnapped somebody? It was just all so ridiculous. The whole story.
Well, I know.
The whole thing seemed because here's the thing. This guy told the police after they arrived supposedly that he thought they had kidnapped a woman and child. What made him think that? Did he see a woman and child? I mean, why would he just pick them out and say that's what he thought? It was also like they wrote a script for a baby.
I gotta laugh, but look, Queen Ahmadiyya. I gotta laugh because let me tell you something. Number one, you said he looked unkept, right? Okay, here's the deal with that. Okay, I want to say something. When I was in corrections, we had to be close cut, and we had to shave almost every 2 days. They actually would check this stuff. So I'm like, unless they change the protocols for federal agents, which I don't see no federal agents looking like that.
That's what I'm
so I
trying
know
to
that was crafty. I don't know what psyop they pulled on that. Just like that thing with the pink hoodies with Andrew Yang. The pink hoodies with Andrew Yang.
Huh?
The pink hoodies with Andrew Yang that you put out.
Yeah.
The man in the pink hoodie. Now I'm sitting there thinking, why would a guy with a pink hoodie who can be easily identified, right? Why would he go knock an Asian person in the street when he can be easily identified pink hoodie? I'm like, are you kidding me?
It was two of them. They both had on pink hoodies. It was a light dark skin, and they both had on pink hoodies. Now, why? Well, first of all, both of them have on pink hoodies, and then why did it look like one of them was clearly? It looked like one of them stood still for them to take his picture.
Like this brother is saying, I've seen National Guard up close, and they all carry guns as far as I know. Yes, they do.
Absolutely. My brother, like I tell you, my brother's a former National Guard. He always had a gun on him. So that's also crazy. And then back to the pink hoodies now. Like I said, both of those guys look like they were looking dead in the camera. Like they posed for the picture almost. So my thing is, so you mean tell me every time somebody attacks an Asian, and then did you see the video where the guy runs across the street and kicks the Asian woman in the face? She's sitting in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I saw it.
Didn't that look staged? And then the guy who kicked her looked like he was Asian too? He looked like he was zoom in. He looks Asian. And then he just ran across the street and just karate kicks her for no reason and walks away. That was all so crazy. She was just sitting there on the sidewalk. So it just all looks so staged to me. I'm just saying. They need to make it make sense. It makes sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I'm gonna tell you something. They see, and that's why I'm saying, like, I guess they're doing it to feel a narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you go, I'm just telling everybody on this Zoom, this stream, go to Common's Twitter page and look at this thing. He got a thing to donate to Asian resources and everything. Go to Common's Twitter page. Donate to what is it? Asian resources. We must stop hate. All this other nonsense. But regardless of Common, we got a little traveling circus going on right now. We got a traveling circus of Ben Crump, Lee Merritt. I mean, you might well throw Tamika Malin in a bunch with this Cadillac commercial, traveling circus. And I was glad to have conversated with you, and we talked about Tamika, not Tamika. Well, we did talk about her, but we were actually talking about Ben Crump, who is partnered with Morgan and Morgan.
Yes.
And I showed you that the Trayvon Martin rally, they had Ben Crump there, smaller, with hair. Looked like he'd been eating a lot lately. He looked a little bit rougher these days. But nevertheless, that was Ben Crump and Shopton down there in Florida.
Right.
And then they signed on that partnership with Morgan and Morton. So, and I'm going to say Bill Crump is a civil rights lawyer, say y'all for 20 pieces of civil, right? But nevertheless, the traveling circus is going to be in Minnesota starting Monday. Well, they might not be. They already got the bag. And he said $27 million settlement. This proves that Black Lives Matter. No, that means that your pocket got fat. That's what that told me.
Yeah, because I went in. I did a video about that. That was so nigger of him.
Well, I saw your video, and I wanted to ask you your opinions on Mr. Crump at the present time.
Yeah, what about him? Mushmouth Crump? I'm going to tell you like this. He's an ambulance chaser. He's always looking for money. He profits off of Black people's lives and Black people's tragedies, right? At the end of the day, he's never seeking justice. All he's seeking is a bag. The only thing you ever see him do is get people a monetary settlement. He never seeks justice. Now, even when they could have gotten more justice, as far as I was concerned, for Amber Geiger when she killed Botham Jean, he had the family go easy on her. I'm sure he's the one that told them to say they forgive her, and to give her hugs and all of that. I think that he was behind it. Now, I may be wrong, but I think he's the one who told them to do that, to get that settlement money. At the end of the day, he's not looking for justice. And if it wasn't for the police killing Black people, he wouldn't be making the money he's making.
Yeah.
That's just
and he he was on another hit lawsuit for $411 for some other case. I forgot exactly what it was. I'm not even getting to it right now. But Ben Crump. But I got to discuss the big person elephant in the room right now, Miss Mallory, who came out with a Cadillac commercial. Now we had Miss Rice come out and blast them a couple weeks ago, and for the Grammy thing, right? She was down in Kentucky for the Breonna Taylor march, and then she jumped on the Grammys. Now, I think I was sending out an article earlier where Tamika Mallory's got a book coming out called State of Emergency. Who are people for in the book? Angela Davis, who's a Marxist, and Cardi B. I said, whoa, Cardi B for in the book. Now I got to really look at this. Why is Cardi B for in the book by Tamika Mallory? So I would think Tamika Mallory, if you saying Black Lives Matter, rah, rah, we need justice, right?
Right.
Then you should be condemning Cardi B's behavior too, right?
Yes. But
so Cardi B cannot be endorsing me. Yeah, so I'm just looking at it. But the Cadillac commercial is what really threw me. I said, whoa. Cadillac sponsoring you? Okay. But you got to understand, so Tamika Mallory was at that women's march. And if you go to the women's march, they had the pink pussy hats and they had the, I guess I called it the transdemic, whatever, because they've been fighting this. I guess they've been fighting this fight for a while now, right? But they got the little transdemic going on, blah, blah, blah. So they got them. So she's part of the feminist movement, but then she jumps on to justice. But what struck me when she said Until Freedom, when she was doing that Grammy thing, right?
Yeah.
Until Freedom is her organization.
Right. That's what they moved that to Louisville, Kentucky for Breonna Taylor, so they say.
Yeah. So I would say this with her. She gonna do her hustle. I mean, Charlamagne, Roland Martin, all them, they coming to the defense. It is what it is. I just say, just don't donate to Until Freedom. Because these people, like I said, agents, these I guess con artists, they need to be hitting the pocket too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. How are you actively fighting against a system of wannabe white supremacy when you are being sponsored by suspected wannabe white supremacists? That makes no sense. So you taking money from Cadillac, but you fighting against people like them, like the people who own those corporations. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's how you know she's fraudulent. At the end of the day, real revolutionaries are not sponsored by wannabe white supremacists. They try to take real revolutionaries down. So that's how you know she's not a real revolutionary. If she was, how come she hasn't been demonized and vilified like Colin Kaepernick was? That's just facts. Malcolm X, Dr. King. I'm just saying other people who spoke out and stood up. Why is she being praised and being offered all of these awards? Otherwise, biscuits. That's what she's receiving. She's receiving biscuits. The Grammys, that was a biscuit. The Cadillac sponsorship, another biscuit. That's what she's receiving, right? So,
and she wrote the book.
Fraudulent.
And she wrote the book. And the book is called State of Emergency. But I do want to ask one other thing about the Grammys. I'm not even wasting time too much on it, but but we did see a carefully crafted psyop of Megan and Cardi B on that same stage that night. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, and I don't know why they let this thing get out there. But
that's how they want.
I know why they let it get out there.
They want Black women to continue to be sexually objectified, viewed as sexual objects, viewed as promiscuous. This has been going on since slavery. Listen, the Hellman's crew, i.e. the white folks, and especially the white men, they have always tried to make Black women seem so promiscuous and so sex thirsty and hungry. They do the same thing with Black men. And so therefore, when they are raping Black women back then, right? When they were raping the Black women, they could try to justify by saying, oh, they wanted it. They're very promiscuous and over-sexualized anyway. So they've continued to push that narrative even in 2021. And the same thing with Black men, making Black men out to be brutes who lust and thirst after white women, and they out here want to rape white women, like that racist movie they made back in the 1915, Birth of a Nation. with the white man in blackface who was supposed to be a black person who raped a white woman. That was all to paint narratives, and they still paint those narratives today. And they use women like Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion to help them do so. That's another thing that points to the fact that if Tamika Mallory was so truly for black people and women empowerment and, fighting for women's rights and all those things, why would she be party to the Grammys knowing that this is what they're going to do? Like, she shouldn't even want herself in the same category or on the same stage with them. So that's how you know she's full of crap.
Now you did, and I'm gonna give you credit for something. You did turn me on to something yesterday where you put up a video yesterday, and I gotta say this about it now because I'm like, whoa, this is wow. Lil Nas X is actually dancing for state. That was crazy. I was like, what is going on here? What are we doing?
YouTube blocked that video, by the way. They blocked it because I showed the video in the video, or Lil Nas X's video, right? I showed it, but I muted the volume so you couldn't hear it. So, because I know if you play the volume, the music, the song, you can get a copyright strike. So I muted it and just showed the video. They still blocked it. So what I had to do is when they blocked it, I had to allow them to trim the video. So they took the video of Lil Nas X, they took that part out of my video on both of my channels. Okay. So, but yes, he was literally getting buck broken by Satan on the video.
That was weird.
That's weird.
That was weird.
That's some sick satanic stuff. That's clearly a Luciferian agenda that's being pushed. Also, pay attention to other things with this whole pandemic and all the stuff. Remember, they had Bill HR 06060606. It was 4663. But also with the Luciferase stuff that they're using. That also, somebody sent me a screenshot of it in my email, one of my subscribers months ago, where they had ordered some organic, 100% organic maple syrup online, and it had the Luciferase in it. That was one. So that was just crazy.
Yep. They are Illuminati puppets and devil worship, but what they showed me is that they don't have to bring the devil. They don't have to tell you about the devil anymore. They're bringing them right in your home now. The pictures, Luciferian agenda. I mean, it's really going on here. I'm a little bit, but I was a little bit nerd by that. I said, whoa. And then he dancing for Satan. I said, this is crazy. But let's be honest, I've never really cared for Lil Nas X from the start. I know that Lil Nas X been pushing the agenda for a long time, flaming and all that. But I'm very concerned by that video because that's just too out there. Okay, that's just too out there. But I mean, to his credit, hey, at least he's showing you where his loyalties lie. Now, I want to bring up something, and then we're gonna get to the injectables. But I want to bring up something. There was a interview this week by Roland Martin, that's it, or Swollen Martin, as Gavin calls him. And Gavin actually reminded me, and the brother I think he came on the show with Judge and Valerie, and shout out to all them on Tuesday, I guess, to talk. But I was very taken aback when I said, when Gavin started talking about the guy to me, we had a show, and Gavin reminded me, because I've been know who he was. I just was surprised he just came up like that. Because I sent you, that man had remember when Candace Owens went to the White House on October 10th for Trump for COVID?
Yeah.
And they had the blue Blexit shirts on back in the blue or something like that. He was there with his Extra Boys thing. And he had an invitation to the White House. Mm-hmm. So this ain't no guy that just came up like that. He was already, now I'm like I said, you told me it's 89,000 yesterday. It was 91,000 in the GoFundMe last night when I looked, over $300,000 goal.
Wow.
I just got to go back and find out when did that GoFundMe start and who's funding it.
Yeah, because
I'll do my research on him.
It was 87,000 yesterday. So that's
who's funding him. But what took me aback last night, and shout out to Queen Dawson for sending me this, and it was on I think Tariq Nasheed's Twitter page, and I want to see, can I pull this up and get a screen to you, because I was very shocked to find out that his daddy was a police officer and his dad is supposedly working for the FBI. So let me see if I can find it.
King Randall.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. I ain't know it either, but I know now. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. But yeah, go ahead and tell me what you thought about the bill.
Well, I feel like he's somebody that they're trying to bring up like another Candace Owens, like a male version of her. I feel like there's people backing him. Wannabe white supremacists are backing him, funding him, and all of that. And I think they're breeding him, like training him to be like a just a coon, a Sambo, somebody they can use against black people. That's what I think. Somebody who talks black but clearly works for the white agenda. When he's saying things, negative things about black people who've been gunned down by the police, and when he was talking about black people need to stop depending on the government, yes, we do. But at the end of the day, if you need help from the government owes us because they never gave us our darn reparations. So it's not like they give you a handout when you need something from them. But I do agree when he says you should not be so dependent on them, because if you depend on them to feed you, then you can only eat when they feed you, right? But a lot of things that he says was cool. And when I saw the picture with him with Candace Owens, and then what's that other girl, Kim Klacik? The one that has the zaddy that used to be
Kim Klacik,
That's all Candace people. And he's hanging around Candace people. If you hanging around them, then you one of them, as far as I'm concerned. And then some people are trying to get mad and say, well, he said he wasn't a Republican. Okay, he may not be a Republican, but he surely spews their rhetoric, as far as I'm concerned. And he capes for them. So, and then he talks about he doesn't, he feels like he was talking against politics and all that stuff. When he was on Roland's show, he was talking against politics and saying we shouldn't want politicians to do anything for us. But you all hugged up on on pictures on your Instagram with politicians. And you went to the White House. And you took the boys that you supposedly mentored to the White House. So how are you going to sit there and talk down about politicians like you don't want them doing anything for you and do for self? You're not doing for self because somebody is sponsoring him. I'm willing to bet money on it. Somebody's sponsoring him. He's not coming up with all this. How is he just rising up in the ranks so quick? And then how is he getting invitations to the president? He said that Donald Trump's staff or somebody saw him on Twitter. Nobody was just seeing you on Twitter, honey. I doubt it, very seriously. Okay? Somebody know somebody or somewhere. And if his father is an FBI agent, maybe that's how. I'm just saying, sometimes these people are carefully picked and selected for certain nefarious agendas against black people. And they'll look like us and talk like us, but they'll work at the sole behest of one white supremacists.
I'll say this, though. I will. Now, to his credit, I'm going to give him a credit, though. It did. Well, I ain't going to say it exposed Roland Martin. It just made him look worse. Let's put it like that.
Oh, yeah. Roland is a Sambo. We've known this for years. Yeah, he exposed him. And here's the thing, though. Roland has, in my opinion, been bought and sold by the Democrats. So he's going to go along and always push their narrative, right? And here's the thing. Pay attention. Roland was talking down on King Randall because Roland doesn't believe in black people doing for self. He can sit there and say he does, but in reality, Roland wants you to depend on the Democrats just like the Democrats want us to depend on them. They want you to stay stuck on the Democratic plantation. That's why they want people to be on welfare, right? They don't want you to, go out there and work and make your way. They want you to stay on welfare and government assistance because they want you to need them. Okay, so Roland is pushing their agenda because he's always down with them. That's why he was talking against King Randall. But at the end of the day, both of them, or neither one of them, are truly for black people, in my opinion. I just feel like they're both are working for different groups of wannabe white supremacists. That's all.
Yeah. And that's why. And I'm gonna say something though right now though with him, I see Roland ain't gonna come on. Well, he ain't gonna come talk to me. He ain't gonna come talk to you. So that's why I said he had to get put on to even talk to him. Now I will say they will reach back out to you on that. So he don't mind hitting up the sites. But I said I've seen this guy, and I do remember them being at the White House, and that's why I was telling people. So I do thank Miss Dawson for giving me that info on him because I was this thing is taking too long to load to share. All you gotta do is go to Tariq Nasheed Twitter page, and if I'll send it to you later on that, and you can find it, and you could probably post it in one of your videos or whatever. And later down the line, and you could see it. I think this guy is DeAndre something, but his dad did work for the police department or something like that. And they had a Facebook page. I didn't think on it. Just Google King Randall father or something, or DuckDuckGo. Go DuckDuckGo. Google might even try to, do it. Go to Rumble.
Here's the thing, also. So, like, we know that he went to visit Trump at the White House, right? He was invited. Roland, I'm sure Roland knows that too, and you know how Roland hates Donald Trump because he works, like I said, for the Democrats. So that's another reason why Roland was probably going in on him also.
Yeah. So he's but I will say this, that we have to, that's why I said, like, I would just advise people, because I think he actually said something he wasn't for reparation either. And that was another thing that, you know what? He did say that.
Nigger and black people putting him on their shows and praising him, and then sitting up there talking about, trying to go in on people who's calling him a Sambo. Clearly he's a Sambo. You don't think black people need reparations? Is he even a foundation of Black American is what I now wonder.
I think that he could be Haitian or Caribbean, but I have to go check him out.
Because when he's talking about reparations, that's all crazy.
Because Candace Owens, believe it or not, is of Caribbean background. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I'm not.
But I will say that there was a talk about reparations this week, but it was a big lie because it wasn't reparations in Evanston, Illinois. It was just a housing grant, and it said it might only go to 16 families. Right? And you had to prove that you were housing discriminated from 1919 to 1969. So it really had nothing to do with slavery. It just had to do with redlining, really. And they put it out there like, we gave out reparations for $25,000. Look here. If you're getting the right automobile accident, right, you might get $100,000. So, hey, you can use it for a down payment or something, or fix some housing stuff, But is it really reparations? Just another carefully crafted psyop to get you to believe that.
Exactly.
So, and then they tell you what to do with it. Or what you can do with it.
I mean, the thing is this. Why don't they just give us our money like they gave everybody else their money? When it comes to us, they always have all these other nefarious agendas and all these other ideas of how the money should be spent, and what they're going to do. At the end of the day, I don't need them to give me money to buy land. I don't need them to, I don't need them to give me land. I can buy it with my own money. Just give me the check. I don't need them handing us land. They can give us terrible land with poor soil that we can't, infertile soil and all those things or whatever. I don't need them doing any of that. I don't need them paying off school loans. And that's another thing. Everybody doesn't want to go to college. I've already been. So how would that help us when they're talking about, we'll pay off your school loans or whatever, or we'll let you go to college for free? Some of us already went to college and our loans are already paid off. Okay, so
that's a social credit system too, Queen Amadaya. That they're trying to pull off, like in California and certain states, they're doing this thing called like a universal basic income thing where they're giving you $500 a month, see how you spend. But I would say that's a lot of tracking. And I would tell people, be careful when you keep on taking all these socialist programs, and they actually are creating a literal welfare state. That's what they're really doing. And with that being said, let's talk about the welfare state, because we have to talk about the injectable. That's it. I call it the injectable.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to ask you a question. I'll read a joke right now. I mean, down the street from me, if I might ride my bike later. I gotta go fix inner tube, but I might just go. You ride by, just go on a nice bike ride. You'll see Krispy Kreme pack. People got their backstation card to go get them a nice little donut. It would be a donut for a whole year free if you take the shot. One guy says he's getting $75. Take the shot. They said they can pay you $200. Take the shot in area. I'm just saying, are we really a joke this right now? Are we really that bad off? Are we really this crazy? I'm just asking.
And also, so I heard yesterday they're also talking about discharging student loan debts if you get the vaccine. Now that's gonna make a lot of people run out there and get it. Not me. Make a lot of people run out there and get it. If they talk about dismissing student loans and all that stuff. They should be dismissing your student loans on GP just because of all the hardships people have gone through due to the pandemic. Loss of jobs, income, and
they're gonna come at you really hard. Now we'll say that well, I gotta ask a question, brother, about the jab, because Mr. Johnson, Magic Johnson, if they saying he survived AIDS, he shouldn't need to have no jab, right? I'm just saying. But I have realized, and I will give a lot of people credit, have not done it, and it actually made me kind of upset. And it made me fall back from a lot of people that I thought were tough, because I said, you taught me to be tough, and you brought me up and you had me under your lineage and stuff, and then you go take it. I said, wow, I can't believe it. You know, I was just a little disappointed, so I had to take a reset. And I said, you know what? I just have to connect with people who don't want to take this thing, man. You know, I'm just saying it because you got to have some sense. Nothing they ever gave you was good. So if they're often saying this, then look how they advertised it through Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. Now they tell you at the Miami Heat game, we got a vaccinated only section. What the hell I care? I don't need to come to your vaccinate. How about this? I don't even need to come to your game now.
Exactly.
I said, you know, shut down your damn airport. We don't need your airport. Don't worry about it. That's it. It's over.
That's right.
In Israel, they are now you got other countries rising up and protesting about the vaccine. About what? They're saying you can't come, you gotta have a green pass. In New York, they're starting the green pass. You got them sorry Negroes, Charlie Randall, who Dr. Khalid Muhammad talked about 20-some years ago. Charlie Randall out there defending Cuomo for all the devil people in nursing homes. I'm not worried about that sexual assault thing right now. I'm worried about the people that died in them nursing homes. Because that means your grandma, my mother, anybody could die in them nursing homes. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying we got to have facts of what Cuomo is saying. No. Y'all need to be telling Cuomo you need to resign. Cuomo say he's not going to resign, right? So obviously Cuomo's been prepped up. In California, they even want Gavin Newsom resign because of the draconian lockdown. So what are we talking about? But about the injectable, we've been seeing a lot of news lately about it. And let me say the word injectable for reasons because of censorship, but also injectable because it's not, by their own definitions, it's not a vaccine. It's a biologic experiment.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So I always tell people we got to get back to natural resources like me. I mean, you know, everybody doesn't eat like me. Some people eat meat. I really don't hardly. But you just have to stay vigilant. Like, I mean, I asked the guy last week, are we back in high school or something? Because, you know, how often is somebody gonna walk up to you and ask you, did you get a shot or something? Did you get an inoculation? This ain't grown man. This ain't your. What I ain't I was supposed to tell you my medical records, right? What are we doing?
They're doing too much. That's what they're doing. Clearly.
Now I look at it as a version of the the crack epidemic. You remember the crack epidemic? They had that, and during the crack epidemic, they would also do experimental studies.
Right.
On you come to the lab, you get paid if you did an experiment. So they're doing it again. But that video you sent me about Lori Lightfoot up and knocking on people's doors for that in Chicago, that is very, very scary right there.
It is. But that's
and it won't be Lori Lightfoot next time. It'll be a National Guard member next time. I mean, just down here in Richmond alone, they moved a site from where it was at because they said black folks didn't have access to it. And I said to myself, now, let's be honest. I'm going to be dead honest with you. That's why I said that Georgia voting law, when they talked about, I said, let me tell you something. If black folks really wanted to go vote, they would do it. So stop making up your lies saying that you need ID for everything else that you've been doing. You matter of fact, you need an ID to get the damn donut. If you had the vaccine. Exactly. So I told the guy that this ain't about you voting. They use you as a scapegoat. They trying to get these illegals to vote. That's what they're doing. So I said, black folks talking about daggone what they did in Georgia. No, it's about you need ID for everything else, so you need ID to vote to make sure that because look, let me tell you something. All jokes aside, I know for a fact, black folks, I mean the smart black folks in Georgia ain't supporting no Stacey Abrams. Let me tell you that right now. Stacey Abrams ain't done a damn thing for black folks down there. Stacey Abrams ain't done nothing. Stacey Abrams cape for illegal immigrants and she cape for LGBTQ. Big time. She got an organization called Fair Fight. I'm pretty sure you can go look it up. But I would say this. What they're doing is really, they're going to stop putting out their puppets. And they're going to get really worse. Now, he's saying 200 million shots by so-and-so. I'm going to find out really did he have 100 million shots? Because when I go out there, if they're having to move it into your area, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means that you ain't coming to get it because you can get anywhere else. So this, like they said, get your booty pole or something. If you're not getting your booty tags, they're gonna bring it to your door.
Right.
So I told the guy, if you say me I can't come to your basketball game, so what? I don't need your basketball game. Yes, Chris Teray, it is about to get draconian and wicked soon. It's already wicked. I mean, we at a wicked time right now. I mean, Lil Nas X showed you how wicked this thing is, right? But matter of fact, Lil Nas X got some shoes called Satan shoes coming out. How convenient is that?
Mm-hmm.
So I just have to always question when they doing this, but they also doing it so subtly. Now, they were doing this experiment a couple years ago down here when they were saying you could get gifts and $25 to get a flu shot. So they were already pulling out the thing. But the videos I'm going to post on my website, kingbjmedia.com, that I would say would not be probably taken well on this, or so I'm going to move it over there. But I will say this, that we just have to be very careful with all the psyops and stuff they're doing. And when you put up your videos, you bring out great content, and you actually break it down, and you do make it make sense. Because I'm telling you right now, nothing really makes sense right now. I mean, like the other day, I'm like, Kamala Harris and Bill Clinton are talking about they're gonna have a women's empowerment seminar. How crazy is that? That makes no sense. Right. First of all, I'm not listening to Kamala Harris about women's empowerment, and why would I listen to Bill Clinton on anything about women's empowerment? That is such a slap in the face for all women, especially black women. But I do want to say that we have to get Divided Jenkins. The NFL said they are not making owners or players to take jabs. They said it, but they also are announcing that NBA players, and you can go look this up, they're saying we're going to give you extra benefits, family and friends come to the game if you take the vaccine. So they give you extra benefits. You can go outside your hotel room and stuff like that. And they also announced that some other players of other teams are getting vaccinated. So while they're saying that they're mandating them, they're giving them freebies and goodies. So it's kind of like, so that's just something I wanted to point out to Davida Jenkins.
They're pandering to get it. That's what they're doing.
Yes. So I would say this on the context. Don't like, this is the thing. Like, I'm gonna come back to Randall for a second. I'm not really using him. I'm just using him as a template to say, look, that school choice that Trump was talking about, you might need to start your own school, private institution, or something, because your school's about to be with LGBT. At Rutgers University, they're actually telling you can't even come back to summer school in the fall without being vaccinated. So all these institutions, you're gonna have to lead them to, because they're trying to get and they're trying to do it under public-private partnerships. And if anybody goes up and I'm gonna put it in the chat, if anybody look up Agenda 21, which was signed by President George Bush in 1992, the first George Bush, the depopulation thing, and look that up, Agenda 21, and you'll see where they're coming from with this. So they're moving on their agenda, the Great Reset, and more. But I will say that yesterday I was glad that Mr. Fauci, the little leprechaun man, who St. Patrick's Day is really proud of, he did get exposed by when the guy came on, and former CDC director, and said that hey, this thing was created in the Wuhan lab, allegedly, so they say, right? But I will ask you one last question. And how did you feel about your great visit to the CDC, or not?
Oh, it was good. It was nice. There was a lot of people there, and it was a mixed crowd, and they had different people speaking. It was very informative for people who were unsure about whether they want to get the inoculations, people who were unsure, about what is in it and stuff like that. And the information about, the side effects and all these things, the things they don't want you talking about on social media. It was good. It was beneficial for that because that's imperative information, and they don't want you talking about it because if you do, they will take down your channel or take down your videos, and things like that. So it was good, and I was surprised to see so many people there.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to go, and I think you also went to, and I got to come down there just to come take a look at this Georgia Guidestones, which actually Georgia Guidestones is akin to Agenda 21. Agenda 21, keeping sustainability, and also depopulation, but we got to reduce probably 500 million people. And Bill Gates says it. I think 178. It's 178 nations that signed on to this, and nations that haven't signed on, like the president of Tanzania. He's gone.
Who's dead now?
He's gone. So got to think about that. So they're also saying we're going to take out resource for your country if you don't sign on. Notice Biden them trying to pressure some other nations like Russia to take these vaccines. And then Hillary Clinton come back from the dead. I said, whoa, so she's even coming talking about giving the vaccine to poor nations. So we just have to be very injectable, and we have to be very aware of those things. But Queen Amanaya, I know I said that I keep you for an hour, and I know you got other lives and a great audience to talk to today. And maybe if down here in Virginia, I got to go a bike ride or something. It's I think it's about 80 degrees, and hey, got to get this good sunlight because we got an idiot named Gates trying to block out the sun right now with chalk. So it's getting.
Now before I go, let me piggyback off what you said. As far as talking about them trying to, tell the Africans they're not going to give them resources and stuff or whatever, or they're not going to help them, give them aid and all those things if they don't sign on, right? Here's the thing. They're not trying to give them these vaccines because they care about African people, because they're the same ones who gave them AIDS and HIV through smallpox vaccinations. But also, not only that, they go over there and steal and rob them of their resources and minerals, right, for their own financial gain and benefit. And they leave those African countries over there poor. And they have these Western men going over there to the Gambia, molesting those children, paying the parents to go off with their children because the parents over there are so desperate. Many of them can't even put food on the table. So they don't care anything about these people. And if they're going over there and saying, we're trying to give you the vaccines first, clearly it's something nefarious.
Okay, I do want you to shout out your information so people can subscribe to you, but I'm sure after hearing from you, they're going to subscribe to you anyway.
Well, thank you. Yes, you can follow me on Authentic Black Goddess TV, Black BLAQUE, Authentic Black Goddess TV. I go live every day at 9 a.m. in the morning. Well, not every day, Monday through Fridays. I go live Monday through Fridays at 9 a.m. with your morning wake-up call, and 6 p.m. Monday through Fridays with your daily vitamin. On Saturday nights, I do True Crime Saturdays at 8 p.m. And I have other channels as well. So you can also follow me on Instagram at Queen Shakur, and on Twitter at DGoddess27, Patreon and Brighton at Queen Amadai Shakur. So thank you, BJ, for having me.
Okay, well, I would take. Well, yeah, it's always fun when I talk to you. You're a very interesting lady, and I want you to go in peace and have a blessed day and keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
You too, the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace.
I know. Have a nice day.